Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Penny for a Tale, playing Kult Divinity Lost, the Black Madonna. Super excited to have everyone here tonight for this. We have a wonderful thunderstorm that just passed through, setting the mood perfectly for what I'm sure will be an amazing, good time tonight. But without further ado, let's go to those who kind of make this whole thing possible. These folks. Furthermore, we'd like to send out a special shout out to Victor Wallace, Alex Roth, Scene Pod, Daniel Overstreet, and Rebecca Thatcher for their contributions to keep this channel up, going, and continuing showing all these amazing shows and interviews and talks. So thank you again. And we're back. So I'm Mitchell. I am the host of Penny for a Tale. But let's talk to our cast members. We'll start, as you guys know.
Hi, everyone. I am Alex Roth. I am back again to play Kult. I love the first game so much that we decided that we need to do this all over again. So I am super excited. This is going to be super fun. We got some really awesome, horrible things going to go down. Yeah, super excited.
I am Ian. I do GMing for Hell's Rebels on Sundays nights at this channel. I don't do anything else online pretty much at all, but yeah, definitely catch me doing that. And tonight I'm playing a Wesley Davis. That's it. I'm not going to give you anything else about
it. We'll introduce our characters a little bit later. MeLeah, why don't you go ahead?
I'm MeLeah. I technically have a Twitch. I haven't fucking set it up. It's been 30 million years, and I say that every time I show up here. Yeah, I just show up here a lot until I actually set up the Twitch account. One day, one glorious day, it'll happen.
You said until you set up your Twitch account. Are you leaving us?
Yeah.
Never leave us.
This is my last game, guys. It's only the first session of this game, though.
No.
I'm fucking eating.
Yeah.
No.
Never will happen. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming. This is our first campaign ever for Penny for a Tale. We basically figured out what people would want to see more of, and Black Madonna reigns supreme. So super excited. I have the book behind me, as well as all the other materials. So very excited to be doing this. Now, this is, as you guys know, a mature channel. We will be touching on very mature themes and issues, as is kind of the premise and expectation whenever you play or watch a Kult game. If you ever feel uncomfortable, feel free to mute it, take a break, and come back whenever you can. This also goes to our cast members. The X card is in effect. They know that if any of the subject matter is something that they don't want to touch, get close to, want to see, experience, etc., whenever they are made uncomfortable, they know that they can send me a message through the many different channels, or just be like, hey, Mitch. And we'll skip over that scene and continue to cultivate a safe and happy playing environment. So I think that's it for the announcements. Once again, this is session 1 of the Black Madonna, and we are going to hop right into it. So it is Hamburg, 1991. Hamburg is an old merchant city on the water. Hundreds of years ago, it was an important part of the Hanseatic League, which dominated trade in Northern Europe. Today, the busy port on the Elbe River serves a seemingly endless queue of container ships. The rows of loading cranes stand like colossi in the dim evening light. Located in the city center is St. Michael's Church, named after the archangel Michael. The church's doorway features a statue depicting the angel, spear in hand, conquering the devil. It's 132 meters high, with a spire rising above the city, and reminds the populace God is always watching. But then again, who believes in God anymore? And with that, the camera, so to speak, zooms in on the Davis family household. So why don't you guys throw together and paint us a picture of what your living domicile looks like?
Sure. Sabine, stop me if you want to correct anything, but small apartment, kind of near the water. There's water nearby, right? Okay. It's really only fit for 2 people. So there are plans to move out when our son, Henry, is old enough to really like take up any space. But I would have just got home because I've been busy as shit since the wall was torn down. But beyond that, my personal life is pretty quiet. So I anticipate a lazy afternoon or evening.
Alright, cool. Yeah, Sabine would just be at home, either reading, spending time with their kid, like around this time specifically when Wes would come home, or just doing whatever would be normal.
And describe this little one you guys have created together.
Child.
That thing that people do sometimes.
He's what, 2 years old now?
Probably.
Yep. It was just his birthday. He just turned 2. Little Henry Davis.
Yeah.
All right, Henry Davis walks around the hardwood floor, his little feet, kind of carrying him around, exploring the different crevices of this domicile, most likely getting the things he shouldn't. But from what you guys described, it seemed like both of you are pretty focused on other things. After a while, you hear a knock at the door.
I'll get it.
Answer it.
Oh no. It's too late. I already said I'll get it.
Go ahead.
I opened the door.
All right. You see a well-dressed man with glasses on, balding, but he has swept his hair off to the side in order to cover it. His hands are kind of have cracks, lines in it from old age, and almost have a sort of a shake to it as he extends a letter to you, Sabine.
I'll take it. Hello. Who are you?
Oh, it's all in the letter, and he'll like tip his hat, which kind of rests on the back side of his head, and goes back out to the city.
All right, I'll shut the door and I'll just go sit down. Have you got a letter?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna start opening it.
Your child Henry, seeing these important piece of paper, kind of walks over and extends his hand to the object. As you open,
I'm gonna hand him a different piece of paper.
Content, the child takes it and starts putting it in his mouth.
It's fine.
Opening it up, you see is an invitation to the German Authors Association's annual award called the Gold Plaque. It reads, "The German Authors Association is honored to invite you to the annual Gold Plaque dinner, Awards will be given on September 14th, 1991 at 2100 at the Hamburg Rathaus Ballroom. Carl Dietmar will give a keynote speech. Evening dress required. RSVP.
She'll just take a moment to think about it and then hand it over to Wes and say, do you know why we got this?
Having the slightest clue. Authors? You know any authors?
Would I
Gold-plaque.
think I would. Mitch, do I know who my parental is?
Ooh,
Mm.
you've heard of her, but I don't think you've met her as of yet.
And so what that you said it's what month on the 14th?
September.
September 14th.
Okay.
13th.
And right now it's what?
Let's say it's a couple days prior.
Okay.
Do we have anything better going on?
I don't think so.
I think we should go. Might be interesting for once.
Let me check my calendar. And I'm gonna pull out a paper calendar from my leather suitcase. Mm.
Yeah, looking at it.
Saturday.
Yeah, except for a couple of evening meetings you have throughout the week, that day is totally free.
We'll get a sitter.
All right. Awkward silence ensues.
So what did you do today, Sabine?
I stayed here. Ran. Well, for the most part, I did run a couple errands. Normal shit stuff. No, I should say shit.
Are we speaking English or German?
Yes.
That's the question.
Probably a little
English-
bit of
Not very good.
both.
My German's probably better than your English. I'll just speak German.
Okay. Cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the awkward silence pursues as we move on to Alex's character. So yeah, why don't you describe to us location as well as Hans?
All right. So I am playing Hans Freitag. He has dark hair and dark eyes. He's about 5'10". He is coming home, actually. He pulls up in front of the very rundown kind of apartment complex that he's staying in. It's not anything to talk about. It is obviously just for lowest of the low. The truck that he is driving, he drives for a commercial trucking company in the town, and he pulls up and he gets out and he goes in to his apartment, doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything. He looks like a normal average type of guy. He For being 5'10", he is well built, and he looks to be in his early to mid 30s. So he'll go into his apartment. His apartment is very sparsely decorated, bare bones furniture. There's a table, there's a bed, there is a dresser, there's a radio, and a lamp, and that is it. So he'll come in and kind of put his keys down and walk to the refrigerator and go about making a drink.
All right, as you come in, walking about. You missed it when you first came in, but sitting on the other side of the door, just kind of most expectantly through the slot you have in the door, sits a couple of letters, and one of which stands out, kind of gold raised lettering on it, with your name on it.
Okay. With Han's name?
Correct, Hans.
Okay. So he'll look over and kind of see the mail and immediately see the envelope in question and notice that it's different than all the others. So he'll go over and pick them up and pull that one out. And if he smells it, what does it smell like?
So you smell kind of the first thing is that the paint used to kind of etch the lines from whatever printing press kind of press the gold ink into it. It has this almost newspaper-like smell to it as well. Maybe a bit of oil, so
My fingers.
and a slight bit of dampness to it. It smells like at one point in time it got wet.
Okay. So Hans has a little bit of a past. So he is always on the alert for anything that's different. Because differences can mean, life or death for him. So he immediately will go over with the letter and put it on his desk. He will go to his dresser and pull out a drawer and proceed to produce a pair of gloves and fishing around for some more stuff. He'll get a scalpel and get, some sort of steamer, like I'm guessing an iron or something, and proceed to delicately open this thing up using steam to not mess up any fingerprints or anything, and slowly pull out this letter and being very careful that if nothing, like no particles or anything are getting falling out, and it's nothing like trying to kill him.
With the paranoia of someone who has something to hide, Hans peels open the letter very carefully, extending it above the dresser. And just as I spoke to MeLeah and Ian, it's the German Authors Association Annual Award for the Gold Plaque, September 14th, 1991.
That's a horrible date. It should be September 13th.
It should be.
That's my birthday.
Yeah.
Or a day off. So, does the letter smell of anything?
So this was definitely handwritten. While the exterior kind of has the pressed indentions of a press. This one is cursive, has different strokes. A very practiced hand did this. It smells like almost like a cigar of sorts. So you kind of have that bit of tobacco smell to it. It is very faint, but it definitely with your.
Is it a smell that he would remember at all?
He'd probably come to mind of several interactions with this type of person, educated,
Okay.
sophisticated, and obviously an enjoyer of refined hobbies.
Okay. All right. He would read it and kind of hold it and check the envelope again, make sure there's nothing else in there. And he would lay the letter on the desk and just kind of sit there for a moment looking at it and get up and get his drink and kind of, still continuing to stare at this thing like, what is this all about? And then he would and then he'll take 2 pills and think about it more.
All right. The you can almost hear the the clock from your neighbors. Kind of like the little. It's always been a little bit loud,
That would
But
have been the end of me. I've been like, I'm done. Can't stand that. Done.
I'm moving
Bye.
out.
Bye.
But yeah, definitely in these moments of silence, drinking and staring at this letter, it just kind of resonates, almost matching your heartbeat at times.
All right. He would he would get up, take the letter, ball it up, and throw it in the wastebasket. And then go back to whatever he's doing.
All right, excellent. So we are going to skip over to the night in question, which we are going to change to September 13th, just for you.
It's my birthday. I'm turning 5 in real life.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm turning negative something. It's fine.
Shut up. I love you. No, just kidding. I
Negative
love you.
6 years old.
All right, so September 13th, 1991. A rainy summer's evening. The building's main lobby is crowded with prominent Hamburg authors, publishers, and socialites. People can freely mingle, and people are starting to arrive, either being dropped off by vehicles or enjoying a nice walk, albeit with umbrellas, through the nice summer evening. So let's first go to Sabine and Wes. How do you guys arrive, and what are you guys dressed up as? Like,
We haven't arrived yet. We're in the back of a car
all right.
on the way there because Wes needs to go back. Are we any closer to figuring out why we're invited to this thing? I say.
Not that I know. Maybe it's because you're a fancy special person with your fucking government job.
No, I would have heard something about it. Nobody's mentioned it at work.
We're awkwardly watching you tie your tie in real life.
Blah. Is there something wrong with it? I tell Sabine.
Yeah, it's wrong color.
Didn't you pick it?
No.
Agree to disagree.
Actually, would my character, I think my character would have asked around maybe during the days, maybe a couple contacts to try and figure out why.
Right.
Is there a role I can make for that?
No, well, with your background, you're able to do this. This isn't a hard, difficult thing. So this is a award for academics, intellectuals, those who kind of are on the up and up in high society. No doubt, someone must have tipped the organization. Most likely someone who enjoys Wes's company, or maybe even yours, Sabine, and thus you received invitations.
I mentioned none of that. Cool.
All right.
All right, Hans, we move over to you. How are you arriving in?
Hans would have done the same. He would have kind of asked around and see if this is something that happens every year. If this is what's this all about, that he's never been in this area this time of year.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's an annual thing.
mhm.
Why exactly you were invited? It's kind of hard to say exactly. It might just be association with Hans. Someone might have recommended you, but nonetheless, you don't kind of sense anything nefarious with the meeting in of itself. It's a bunch of academics and intellectuals. and publishers and such.
Yeah, and I got things I gotta do. People. So thinking about it for some time, for the days beforehand, he would decide that he actually is probably going to go. So he'd fish that paper out of the wastebasket and like fold it back out. And he would dress very blandly, like nothing too extravagant, nothing. It's a suit and a tie, a dark suit and a dark tie, and a jacket. But not much else. There's no jewelry, no nothing. He will arrive by foot. He will walk there. He is not going to drive his truck. He doesn't have a car otherwise. And he'll do it casually. He'll stroll. He'll kind of scope the place out and see who's coming, who's going, what they look like before entering himself.
All right. Are you the type of person to have an umbrella, or?
Yes, he would have an umbrella, but it would also, as well as his jacket, would have compartments for concealment for weapons.
Excellent. So looking at the individuals who are coming and going, most coming, a couple of people leaving, but the people who do seem more like caterers and people just bringing fruit and leaving for the time being. You see taking care of vehicles coming and going, dropping people off, people wearing fur coats, the latest styles of the early 90s, at least in this area. There are a couple of individuals out in front, each wearing a tuxedo with the bow. They seem to be ushering people into this main plaza area just inside. That's about it from the outside.
Are there any other security other than the people in the front?
I mean, for your eyes, they're not really security, but just assistants, caterers, and stuff like that. You're pretty confident this place isn't the. It would not be difficult to get in, even if you did not have an invitation. Much like high society, in general, everything's just kind of a show. They have the creature comforts of hors d'oeuvres, candles being lit with lavender, and beautiful glass chandeliers on the inside. But everything, as you know, is superficial. All of it is just something that they do. Oh no, we lost.
We lost an Alex.
Sorry, guys.
You're okay. So, with the events that have transpired in the history, what are kind of like your thoughts as you approach this place?
Sabine, trying to casually just keep an eye out, because if she's able to see how open it is, she's just making sure that no one she knows should be there. Just making sure it's safe.
Well, Wes isn't paranoid about anything, and because he kind of has no reason to be afraid other than he's living in fucking Germany in the 90s. But he's not really worried about it. He just seems super unfazed. Instead, maybe he's trying to figure out why he was invited to this place, and thinks maybe it has something to do with his work, but that's kind of that's expecting a little bit much, because he doesn't really do anything at the embassy. He works at the U.S. Embassy in Germany, but really he doesn't do anything useful there. He just kind of is like a pencil pusher. Oh.
Hans is he has the demeanor of being very cool and collected. He doesn't, show that he is scoping just about everybody out and is very much questioning why he's here. There is a sense of there's some people that catch his eye, and he gives some people longer looks than others, but he's quiet for the most part. He's just quiet, watching.
All right. As you approach Hans, there is someone you recognize. It is a gentleman with this short, unkept curly hair, almost slicked off to the side in an urgent tussle to kind of contain it. He is wearing clothing that speaks of someone who's kind of knowledgeable about fashion and such like that. Someone who is definitely an artistic, creative person, and no doubt an author. You know this person to be Andre. He is an individual that you've seen about in some of the circles that you frequent.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say you two are very close, but acquaintances nonetheless.
Okay.
He is definitely someone who takes his passions very seriously and keeps some things very hidden. But he notices you kind of approaching the building, and it's not a very welcome wave, but it's the most welcoming wave you'll probably get, you feel, in this whole night.
Okay, yeah. Hans will slowly approach him, not making it like a beeline, but casually start to go over towards him. And when he finally gets to him, he'll kind of under his breath, so that he can hear, say, is this yours? Did you invite this?
Yes, Hans. It's a stressful night, and you came to mind. And
It's okay, Andre. I didn't know. I never get things like this, and I don't have the clothes. He'll put his arm kind of like around him and be like, it's so fine. I thank you.
Thank you. I meant to call you. I just.
Oh well, I should try and call you sometime. I'll have to catch up with you.
Yeah.
You seem to have a lot of. I'm gonna kind of gesticulate around and be like, you got a lot of fans here, right?
It's my fiction is not held in high regard, more so held on a pedestal of that you might hold like an exotic bird on.
Well, that's what you are. You are exotic bird. You sit on pedestal. People look at you. Very nice to look at. Very nice to look at.
I appreciate it, and he kind of like places a hand on yours in a very affectionate manner. I just it's you hope one day that you acknowledge for the things that you do and not for the eccentricities that you might be a part of.
Yes. That is always a problem, isn't it?
But is. I'll do the pony and show dance, and maybe something will come of it. I'm always an optimist.
I'm sure something will come of it.
Hopefully. So
I will be going in now. I'll see you later.
I will see you in. And he just kind of like in this awkward
Okay.
like way,
Yeah.
just. And he has like this way of just kind of always holding himself as he does in a very like insecure manner.
Can relate.
All right, Sabine and Wes, you guys arrive. A gentleman in a tuxedo opens the door. And is this your car or did you take a taxi?
We took a taxi.
He'll open up the car doors and kind of gently hold up an umbrella to usher you guys in. So I know Wes is wearing a tie, very very well made up. Sabine, how are you dressed?
She's wearing a pretty nice, not too nice. You don't want to be flashy, but like a very like respectable dress for the fancy event. Probably blue or black. She doesn't want to draw too much attention.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, they with this umbrella help you inside. And yeah, it's beautiful. You see kind of the crystal glittering chandeliers as everyone's kind of sitting in this atrium area. No doubt, kind of the prequel or the prologue to tonight's affairs. Several people in bow ties, nice made up, walk around with these silver trays with several snacks and treats. And someone's even serving a bit of coffee off to the side.
Is there a bar?
There is. Indeed.
I'll make my way over and I'll order a Coke.
That is not the. That's a light drink.
Yep.
I'll take coffee.
All right, so this
That's us splitting the party. All right.
Yeah, that's a split.
yeah, it's everyone just going all their separate ways.
Hans is also at the bar, just
Yeah.
FYI.
Hans, what are you drinking?
Yeah. Straight scotch.
Yeah, the
Did he say
bartender.
that to me?
Hmm?
Did Hans say that to me?
About the light drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll turn and I'll say, yeah, I checked my calendar yesterday. Tomorrow makes 500 days sober.
Ah. You're a good man then. You don't drink. Stay true
I'm
to
trying to be.
yourself. That's what we all try to do. Stay true to ourselves. Some of us are better than others. He'll take a drink.
It's going to take me a while to process it because I'm not fluent in German. Well, I'm fluent, but I'm not. It's German second language.
And his German definitely has an accent. Definitely a heavy accent. But it is still fluent German, so. Yeah.
So why are you here? Against my better judgment. I was about to walk away, but I have no idea why I'm here, so I figured I'd ask.
Hans will smile and kind of actually give Wes just kind of a once over. I don't know myself. Here for friend. Here for drink. Don't really know. Why are you here if you're not here for drink? Here for friend?
You know, I'm not so sure myself.
Two people, two men, not
Just
knowing what to
invited.
do.
Well, does anybody know what to do on a Saturday anymore?
No. No, my
Nice
computer.
meeting you. Oh no. I'm gonna slip away to the coffee station.
while he returns.
Say hi to Sabine. Yep.
Yeah, I have coffee. It's super interesting over here.
So I slipped away.
Okay.
Out of the-
Sorry about that.
Go to the
Yes.
coffee. No, you're fine.
All right.
Roll
use the
sense
awkward-
motive.
Yeah.
Historical silence to yeah.
Uncomfortable.
I'm just talking to Sabine. I'm gonna ask her, is that decaf?
Why?
Shit, never mind.
No, just saying it.
No, don't worry about it.
Okay. No, it's not decaf. I'm probably gonna be up late all night.
It's Saturday. Any clue why we're here yet?
No, I haven't really talked to anybody yet.
Me neither. Oh, look at that. There's food. I'm gonna walk away. to get some food.
I'd probably not do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue keeping an eye out and see if like there's anyone else there that doesn't know why they're there.
All right.
Just keep an ear out.
So as you are sitting, taking in the coffee and such, the lovely beans of it roasted kind of filling your nose. As I hit my mic again, it's gonna happen every show. A gentleman, older, blonde hair with slight dirt in it, dark. Sits by you. He looks very well built, very put together, almost sleek in a way. He sits down next to you, and you kind of notice the signs as his eyes wander over all that you encompass. He looks at you. So, what are you doing here?
Drinking coffee.
Is that all you're gonna drink tonight, or can I
Yep.
get you a real drink?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why so cold?
Why so pushy?
You have humor. I enjoy that. That's it's refreshing.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna go.
You just hop up and leave.
Hans will sit down and be like, no, I'm just kidding. No. Let's play a game.
Women, right?
Needs them.
Can't live with them. That's it. Can't live with them.
Nope.
So
can't
people
say
joining us, we are playing Kult Divinity Lost, a game first made in the 1990s, banned in many places such as the U.S., and then redone just this past year via Kickstarter under the company name Helmgast. It is powered by the apocalypse and with influences such as Hellraiser, as well as a lot of dark fiction. It explores the depths of the tragedy of humanity as we search for all that we have lost and all that we will lose throughout our lives. We today are playing the specific famous campaign for the game, the Black Madonna, also published around the 90s, which focuses during a time right after the Berlin Wall fell. And 1991, over here in Germany. Our, I'm not going to call them heroes. Our cast members are attending a party of sorts for academics and authors and such. It's an awards ceremony, basically. Though they're not sure exactly why they are here, and there's some odd social interactions going on, to say the least. Nonetheless, let's hop back into it. Hans, what are you up to?
Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. Hans is he has taken his scotch that he got at the bar and is kind of just, walking around trying to overhear conversations. He's trying to pick out, what the general gist of these convos are, if anyone's not speaking German, if they're potentially speaking another language that is his that he's more fluent in, that he's, native speaker of. As well as looking at the scenery, looking at both the interior of this place and the people. So yeah, what conversation is he hearing? Like, what's the general?
Much of it is speculation on who exactly is going to win the prominent award tonight, the German Authors Association, the gold plaque and such, and who's up for nominees, and it's a lot of like author politics and a lot of socializing, but of people who have definitely come from very glittering lifestyles.
Does he see Andre there?
You do. Andre is sitting on a bench a little bit further away. His hands kind of holding himself as usual, with one kind of biting bits of his nails as he's looking around.
Hans will approach him and say, "Can I get you a drink?"
Oh, yes, actually, that I'd appreciate it.
Sure. What do you drink?
Let's see. I'm kind of a lightweight, so maybe a bit of whiskey.
That is not. I will get you whiskey, but that is not a light drink. No, that's a strong drink. And
Well, for
he'll
tonight.
sit down next to him. Actually, he'll sit down next to him. Like, that's a strong drink, and put his hand on over his, and like reassuringly pat it. And this is your night. This is something for you. Why do you look so nervous?
I don't know if it's my night. Really, it's
It is. This is the artiste. This is the artiste night. You are artiste.
It's their night. You know it. I know it. Everyone like me, everyone here who has suffered for their art knows it. This isn't about what we've written. It's about who we know.
No. Real talent will always get exemplified. That will always be the winning. So you might not win this. Screw them. Is that even a thing to say? It is that you have what so many people desire, and that is the spark, the flame. Go look at you, Andre, of art.
It seems more at times a curse than anything else. But I don't want to bring down the party. I think I've already have though.
You have not. Sit here. I'll go get a drink.
Thank you.
Anytime. All right, he'll get up and get a drink.
So as you do, Sabine, you notice Andre sitting at his little bench, the nervous little one as normal. you definitely recognize him in kind of some of the places that you sometimes frequent. He's not totally in kind of the shadow stuff as other people are, but he kind of dabbles, especially with the obtaining some banned goods from out of the country.
Yeah, I'd probably just casually sit next to him or across from him, wherever he's at. Well, fancy seeing you here.
Hello. It's Sabine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's I did not anticipate you being here.
Neither did I.
Enjoying yourself nonetheless?
As much as you can.
Yeah.
Have you seen anyone else we might know here?
No, not really. Though, to be honest, I haven't really been looking.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Big night?
It's okay. What, where's your husband?
You'll look over. He's leaning into a silver painted vase, trying to count how many white hairs are sticking out of the blonde. Just absentmindedly not. His coolness is the dump stat. He doesn't care.
When coolness is a dump stat.
He kind of left me as soon as we got here, so.
I don't mean to pry, but what why do you and him there's a lot of questions there.
They don't need to be answered.
Fair enough. Actually, my a friend of mine, I want to introduce you to. And by this time, Hans, you've come back.
I'll come back. Yeah, with the drink, and I'll hand him the drink and look towards Sabine and nod. Hello, I'm Hans Freitag. He'll extend his hand.
Shake it.
Shake it. Friend of Andre, are you friend of his as well?
Oh yeah, we know each other.
Ah, interesting. Biz, are you a writer?
No.
No.
I enjoy the craft.
Ah, I see. Interesting. This is a beautiful event. I have not been to something like this in some time.
Same.
Too bad I know absolutely no one other than Andre. And now you. It's fortunate.
Yeah, that's almost the same for me. Other than Andre wanted to introduce me to somebody.
Was that me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was me. I am not so sure if I have any good conversations for all of us. I am not really. I don't quite know why I am here, other than for Andre. This is interesting.
I can relate.
So it's about this time that the many of the servants and people here are directing the patrons into an enormous room with domed ceilings and glittering crystal chandeliers. You guys see tables of solid oak decorated with white silk tablecloths and candles filling the entire hall. Livery-clad waiters dart back and forth with trays serving salmon and roast venison, followed by apple tarts with sorbet. A quiet hum of voices fills the room, softly echoing off the arches. And you
By this
guys,
time, sorry, I would have
sorry.
made my way back to Wes by this time.
Yeah.
Shit.
By happenstance or coincidence or by being orchestrated by a dark being that you have no idea it is, you guys sit at the same table along with Andre.
I was gonna say I'm gonna stick with Andre here. This is where this is going for me. All right.
You've set a course for the night.
I have. Although you're welcome to join. Come, please. You. My new friend. Oh, are you two? You'll point to Sabine and point to Wes. Are you two married? I see. How long?
What is it now? Move to Sabine.
Give me a moment when I reference my magical notes in my mind, but this only takes but a second in real life.
Yeah. This is what happens to married people all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know what. Let me check my backstory.
Yeah.
IRL backstory.
I did not take notes.
3 or 4 years?
Sounds right.
Okay, 3 or 4 years. Okay. Well, did you meet in Berlin?
We did.
Mm,
Yeah, I just started my job.
excellent. That's a beautiful city to fall in love in. Do you Coca-Cola boy, do you do you write as well?
No.
That accent, there's an accent. Where were you born?
I'll let you take a wild guess.
I've heard it. I can't say. Massachusetts.
You're way off.
I'm sorry. I know there's an accent. I can't tell from where.
Texas.
Texas. That
Yeah, I
is
grew
it.
up all over though.
Hmm?
I grew up all over though.
Can never get the accent. You can take the man out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of the man without asking politely. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's funny.
Sabine will chuckle to the side.
Thank you. Tough night.
You from Berlin?
I am not from Berlin. I am from a small town south called Freitag. It is an old mining town. It is where both of my parents lived. But I come here now. Berlin is the city of many things happening, as we say, right? Right. And if not, I wouldn't be here tonight, so thankful for that. Looking towards the stage like,
Yeah. I was like, let's go. Who do you think's gonna win?
Dodgers. I don't even know who's Andre. Who's up for this award?
Oh well, the one I think at least I've heard who might have the best chance of winning, though no one really knows why, is this unknown poet named Leon Schultz. So,
what kind of poetry does he write?
Well, much like any other poets, he explores the depths of humanity in kind of a fanfare, lighthearted way.
Lighthearted. Mm-hmm. I think that is good. We have had too much, how do you say, heaviness This is now time for be lighthearted. Time to be happy, right?
I guess. He like pokes at his venison. So as you have people serving you guys meals and everything throughout the night. Wes, you have there's this one waitress who actually you've seen her before. Her name is Catherine. She actually works at the embassy. She is local, and she mainly kind of handles much of the mail delivery, distribution really within the office, as well as gets people's coffee. So very much kind of like an undersecretary. You kind of smell it on her breath when she comes by and puts the plate before you. This kind of red and succulent roast venison. A little bit of alcohol in her breath, and as the night goes on, you notice whenever she sets a plate down before you, she lingers a little bit, kind of over you in that way that traces flesh against flesh, kind of on your back as you feel her warmth, and she'll.
Have I mentioned that I recognized her, or have I stopped? I haven't stopped to talk to her yet.
Yeah, it is. You have not said anything as of yet.
Okay, so once that happens, I realize that it's probably too late to. So I'm not going to, and I wonder if maybe something had happened and I had forgotten because I've been having these weird spells. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend I don't recognize her, as she's been doing with me.
Yeah, her
do
last
I notice
one.
this?
Ooh, yeah, you do.
Oof. Oof. Andre, watch this.
So actually for you, Wes, we're gonna have a little fun as you as you try to keep it together. You kind of feel her linger her digits on your shoulder, in a way, as she leaves, leaving your sorbet almost melted, kind of dripping in a very very tasty type of way before you. Tasty. So
Tasty.
roll plus willpower.
Okay. That's 2d6.
Mm-hmm. I love how the first dice roll of the game is just keeping it together while someone's flirting with you in front of your wife.
I botch it. It's all over
I got
in real life.
4 and a 4, and then my willpower is plus. Wait, where's willpower?
At the top on the character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Perception, soul.
It would be with fort and reflex.
So 3.
I don't even think I have a character sheet.
Girl.
Well, I mean,
I wrote out my.
In our dossier, you have all your stats but willpower.
How is it not there?
You might have it at 0.
Are 2 supposed to be set to 0 in the array? Because I could probably figure out which one I'm missing. It's a 3, a 2, 2 1s.
Wait, no. Fort, reflex, and willpower are different from like your skills.
Yeah. Is it 2, 1, 0?
Oh.
Yeah,
I believe that's
Okay, so if the other ones have scores, then it's probably 0.
Yeah.
Whoops. I totally missed that step of character creation.
We were all there.
We all were.
We all
It's
watched you.
We watched you. We didn't.
That's creepy.
All right,
So
so
we'll just
so you got an 8.
Yes.
The effort to resist instills a condition which remains with you until you have time to recuperate. So you can choose one. You become angry, you become sad, you become scared, you become guilt-ridden, you become obsessed, you become distracted. You will be haunted by the experience at a later time, Or you get -1 in situations where this condition would be a hindrance to you.
Do you get a boner? Is that one?
Let's do guilt-ridden.
All right, so put that on your sheet. So you had a -1 stability as you didn't tell your wife you were. Yeah.
I was what? I don't even know. Too bad. I'm
Do
sorry.
I have to roll to notice what happened?
No, it's fun if you just notice.
All right. Yeah, I just look at him.
That look.
How's your venison?
This is hilarious.
Try.
Should be.
So salty.
Oh, that too.
So as the night proceeds, the dinner and the award ceremony progresses pleasantly. A virtually unknown poet, much like Andre said earlier, Leon Schultz, is met with polite applause after winning this year's gold plaque. There aren't any hoops and hollers. No one's that excited. And the gentleman, very unassuming with this slick, almost wet-like hair, pushed kind of to the side, accepts the award, gives a very bland speech, just devoid of enthusiasm, and returns to his table, which is kind of on the other side of where you guys are. The place where you're at has room for people to get up and dance, which people start doing, and you kind of notice at this point in time of the night, many people are kind of in that very tipsy, slightly drunk phase of the night. You see kind of in the corner a bunch of what looks like a married couple, like arguing in that very like I'm doing my best not to let everyone hear, but everyone can hear. Another individual is this very kind of what looks like a very handsy manager, who's kind of being a little too touchy with some of the caterers. And for you, Wes, your co-worker, at one point in time in the night, kind of leans in, and you kind of feel that tickle on the back of your ear as she says, "Mr. Davis, would you like a dance?"
In the politest German I absolutely can, I will say I must respectfully decline.
She kind of looks at Sabine,
Christ.
and kind of you feel her breath like on the back of your neck. Let's try for later. And she gets up and she walks away.
I'm gonna shoot Sabine an expressionless glare.
You can't see her right now.
Just
This
stare
is
forward.
staring
Stare
at her.
forward.
I'm
Don't
just-
make a noise.
Fully baffled.
I wish we could zoom in on
Yeah, I wish we
MeLeah's face. Just
So you know each other?
I don't know her personally. She must have heard. She works in the mailroom at the embassy. Must be how she knows my name.
What? I sip my coffee.
My Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola classic.
Classic.
So around midnight, people have begun leaving the party. People are either being carefully. Huh? Were you about to say
Sorry.
something?
I cut out, so I don't know. Did you? Hans is definitely going to try and get Andre away from the rest of the party,
Ooh.
and possibly to a coat room. We'll see it. Yeah, I don't know if I got something to show you. Let's come on. I got something to show you.
Are you implying what he thinks you're implying?
Probably. If he's implying correctly, then yes.
All right. So why don't you give me an influence other roll plus
Okay.
charisma?
Oh, that thing that I don't have.
Also known as a let me smash check.
Yeah.
God. If you want to see more, tune in on Sunday nights.
I rolled a 6 and a 4, so 10 total.
All right. Have any charisma?
I have no charisma. That's all I'm going for. Does Weapons Master assist? It does not.
Yikes.
It's like,
I mean, it could, but
okay,
I'm not.
Yeah.
Not here.
All right, with a 10, Andre is definitely amicable.
You're down. Yeah. All right.
Though, in kind of a voyeuristic way, he asks that you kind of leave the door open a crack.
Done. They're okay. Let's do it. Let's go. Done.
Good. Done.
So yeah, that is what he'll do.
Oh,
The curtains close.
Roll for it check.
Done.
Spend a hero point to make it epic. So
to pick up on that
huh?
that subtle
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
table.
You want to see if you can
If I've basically a gaydar check.
Yeah. If you connect the dots.
yeah.
The 2 dots.
You can you can roll read a person, which is your roll plus intuition.
If I already knew Andre, would I know? Or do I have to also roll?
All right, so I got
with the things that he wanted, you're pretty sure.
I
Okay.
got 6 plus my intuition is -1. So
Oh no. You think we're going to go look at coats?
Yeah.
Fine.
So
I'm gonna lean back and I'm gonna ask Sabine. Hey Sabine,
Yes.
do you think he really thought I was from Massachusetts?
Is there a huge difference, or?
All right. I guess it only makes sense to Americans, but forget about it. I'm gonna get another Coke.
yeah. So part of the since you did such a horrific read person, you're pretty sure that Andre and Hans are kind of like buddies who are about to like be each other's wingman for some women.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, when was the last time I enjoyed that?
Yep. It's easy. You just figure out how old your kid is and add 9 months.
Oh, the sad truth.
Holy yikes for me.
Come to closet.
Ah.
Yeah, so this is kind of frustrating for you, Wes. definitely a
Yeah.
tough time. So later on in the evening, after the shenanigans in the coat room and other places, people are leaving or being ushered out. Taxis are being called. People are driving because at that point in time, no one really cared whether you were drinking or not, etc. You guys see 4 arrivals enter the room where you guys are kind of congregating. 3 middle-aged men and a woman. The men are wearing tailcoats with exclusive cuts. The dark-haired woman has a full-length silken gown with a short white cutaway cape. 2 stewards approach and take the gentleman's coat and the lady's cape. And then the 4 are shown to a table just adjacent to you guys. The woman might look familiar to some of you. I'm sure Sabine has seen a picture of this person. Magda Orvala. Orlova.
This is the only time you see Sabine have like a moment of anxiety, like slightly visible before it's like she tries to shake it off real quick.
While Andre kind of looks over and says to you, Hans, "Oh, that's Philippe Kramer. He's a painter, a very talented one at that."
He's got nice hands. That's nice hands. Wait. The woman. What is her name?
I believe that's Magda.
She looks familiar. Another time. Don't know. He's kind of like, I have a closet door right here. Sorry. Hans is like, kind of like has his arm behind Andre's chair and is just kind of very nonchalantly just kind of rubbing his back a little.
So as you guys are kind of looking at these 4, you definitely notice that they seem ill at ease, and every now and then one of them will stare nervously at one of you guys.
Are they looking at one specific person or just like all of us kind of?
All of you, yeah, just
all right.
Yeah. It's followed by just kind of whispered discussion between Magda and the 3 men. So you just kind of like lean in a little bit forward and whisper to each other.
It is getting late, is it not, Andre?
Andre, yeah, I guess it is.
And, where's your apartment?
Oh, actually, I'm not too far from here. Several blocks away on this little quaint little place near a garden.
What is in bloom this time of year?
I have a particular set of tulips that
I would love
enjoy.
to see your tulips.
Oh, I'd love to show you.
I guess I've already seen it. All right. Why don't we we go? Let's call it an evening. Yes. Walk you home.
Wes is just like, oh, they really like flowers too, huh? Cool.
Oh, that's so neat.
Bros.
Wes is like, man, they're probably getting laid back at their place, checking out the flowers.
Chicks everywhere. Yeah, Hans is trying to like get GTFO.
Yeah.
As you guys kind of start to rise and such, you guys see the men promptly kind of leave, retreating from the room, while Magda turns over and with like this delicate hand kind of gives a wave to you all. You guys see a bit of surprise and joy and anxiety cross her face for a few seconds, as she kind of waits expectantly for you guys to come on over.
I'm gonna say in English to Sabine. First, I'm gonna look. What's your expression like?
Sabine's actually probably not gonna make eye contact like as much. She's just like, whew, okay. It's a little anxious.
I'm gonna say in English. You know her?
Not personally. I think we should go over. Except more broken English because I don't talk English good.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna just stumble on over that way because she's ushering us over.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
How about you, Hans?
5 minutes won't kill you, Hans.
Why don't you wait outside for me? I'll be quick unless you want to come too.
No, I'll go out for a smoke. I'll see you outside.
No.
And he heads out.
Mm-hmm.
So as you guys approach her, she definitely looks, despite her kind of smile, she looks weary and drained, as if she's aged a lot since like the pictures you've seen Sabine, as well as those who know her. She seems somewhat shrunk. Her arms and legs are completely covered by the gray and white dress. And as you guys approach, she removes her white gloves and to shake hands with each of you.
okay.
We'll shake hands.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'll shake second.
I will
introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
And also introduce my wife, Sabine Davis.
She pauses when she shakes your hand, Sabine, and smiles softly, and then puts her glove back on after she's done. You guys smell, now that you're close, like this very almost overwhelming strong perfume.
Is it one that she would have worn like throughout her life and various?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, she was always more conscious about that, but today maybe she just went a little bit overboard with it.
Well, it's been a very long time since I've seen you, Madam Orlova.
Hans, is it?
he would laugh because that's not the name that he would.
Yeah.
Da, Hans.
Hans. So I hear. It's good seeing you. Really, it is. It's almost as if fortune has brought us here. I'm sorry. I just it's a persistent migraine that's been haunting me the last couple of days. It makes it difficult to engage at times. So please be patient with me. Oh man, it's been some time. And she looks at Sabine. Hi.
Hello.
We've met, yes.
I would say that, yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Wes is puzzled.
How are you?
Fine. I guess this is my husband.
And she smiles and places a hand on Wes's shoulder. Husband, wow, congratulations. I wish I could have been there.
Me too. And then she'll gently turn to Wes and say,
Oh, this is a look of shock, just like it's like
Do you-
that's who this bitch is.
do you
Okay.
remember how I told you I was in foster care?
Yeah. Yep.
Duh.
The
Yep.
Oh, this is interesting.
Some of that. I'm not gonna get to 400 days. 500 days.
I buy you a drink. Let's go.
So Sabine, what do you do?
I raise our child.
And your husband?
I'll let him.
I work at the United States Embassy here in Berlin.
Oh, are you an American?
That's
He's from
correct.
Massachusetts.
Coca-Cola.
Oh, Sabine, it's I don't know if it's a feudal thing to say, but I'm proud of you. I think you've done tremendous for yourself, it looks like.
Yeah. She's gonna take a sec. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get a drink. Be right back.
Yeah, of course. Wes, any children in the future?
Well, you'd be pleased to know we have a child now.
How old?
Yeah. Oh, here. I'm gonna produce a photo of
A
my
photo,
child.
yeah.
You get the wallet
I
with
probably
the
took Hans
wallet.
with me too, honestly. Just like, oh god, I need support, and I don't know you
Out.
very well, but we're going.
Oh, she like, she places her hands on the pictures and almost in this almost longing way traces her fingers over the image of the child, as well as Sabine looking at her younger, and there are probably pictures of the wedding too.
Yep.
She looks it's I wish I could have been there, No, sorry, I don't want to bring down the party. And she takes a napkin and kind of coughs into it. Sorry, I've not only the migraines, but I've been suffering from these terrible nightmares. There's kind of been lingering. But I just I'm happy to see you, and to see her happy.
Wes is secretly trying to I don't know, trying to make sure she doesn't find out there's like a 14-year age difference between them, but play it off. He doesn't know if she's going to be judgmental.
You're like, yeah, I'm a young guy.
There's 12, 14 years, yeah, but we're just gonna just going.
Numbers, yeah, just numbers.
Yeah, it's just a fucking number, right? Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, Sabine's gonna do a shot before coming back.
Uh, yes, you guys now are all seated at this table. Another round of the tarts and sorbet, most likely left over from earlier on, is presented to you.
He would. Hans would be like, I don't want to interfere with your family thing. I will take a leave if you want to be alone.
No,
Oh, you're too polite. We've been here all night. Just take a minute.
I won't be late. I promise. I can't really. I mean, it's hard for me to. To be honest, I'm out here to kind of escape from having to sleep, but this party looks like it's winding down, so I'll probably go for a walk soon after. But Hans, I really appreciate you being here.
No problem. I will not be rude.
Thank you. So Sabine, do you live nearby?
How far away do we?
Yeah, 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
By taxi.
Yep.
I see. Well, she kind of nervously rubs her hands against her dress. I've been living in Berlin, my old hometown, for the past few months. However, I've come back to Hamburg, hoping being away from Berlin might help relieve the bad dreams.
Do you still have your little shop with the things, the books?
Yes. I do. It's a quaint little thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. And you'll each have to come by sometime. I'd like that.
No, I haven't. I have not been to that side of Berlin in some time.
That's fair. If anything, Sabine, I'd like to get Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to give Henry a book, maybe something you could read to him. Maybe say it's from his grandma.
All right.
Oof.
Yeah, she's like very this whole time just kind of like nervous.
Yeah. Even though I've come here to kind of clear my head, I hoped that I would bump into you. I have to admit, I've often looked at the phone book and seen your names and wondered what it would be like if I just stopped by.
You should have paid a visit.
Were you the one that invited us?
No, I hoped you'd be here, but I didn't know you would. And she, takes out this little vial with several pills in it, and she takes some and downs it and chases it with some water, and then alcohol.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do.
You do.
As one does.
It's just it's been hard sleeping. For some odd reason, I've been having the same dream every night. I haven't slept more than like 5 hours in the past week. It's I don't know. Do you think I should? Do you know anyone? Should I see someone?
This is, he'll look to Sabine and Wes. This is all you. I am no doctor.
Do I know anyone?
Do you have any medical history?
Not legal stuff.
Hans would question, if you're able to, what are these dreams that you're having?
And you see her kind of get noticeably pale. She kind of stares down at the table. I don't remember them that well. Everything's fuzzy and unclear, but I'm young, very young, in the dreams. Just a child. I'm locked up for being disobedient. It's so dark. Something keeps moving in the darkness.
Is it the horse?
What? Why would there be a horse?
Nothing. Can't have nice things.
Then the pain. It cuts right through me, becoming my entire world. The dream becomes endless pain. So I can't remember anything properly after that. Just pain and vague impressions of things moving in the dark until I finally wake up. And as you guys watch her, her face pales, and she's visibly shaking. Her eyes nervously wander. A cold sweat kind of glazes her forehead. And she just stares.
Hand her like a napkin or something like that before try to break her out of it a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna produce a business card of mine and ask here. Do you have a home telephone?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead. Just write your number down. I'm gonna call you a taxi. Let's just get you some sleep tonight if we can, and I think I know a doctor that might be able to help you.
I'd like that, Wes. That would be, yeah. And she writes down her number and slips it back to you.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go to the front desk entrance area, just to anybody that would have a cell phone. Not a telephone. A phone with a curly wire.
Yeah, someone has, the little... Was it the rotary phone? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a rotary phone.
I haven't used one of those in forever. Ugh.
Ugh.
Okay, and I'll use that to call a taxi cab, and then internally I'm debating because I know that there's a doctor, but it's not really a doctor, it's a psychiatrist at the embassy that gets referred, but I don't know who they are. I don't remember how to contact them.
You could probably contact them your next day of work.
Yeah. And I just like just a little bit consider asking if Catherine's there, but I decided against it because it'd just be a bad idea.
Smart man.
I'm just trying to see if it's just about this, like, okay, anyway, but all right.
It doesn't take long, about like 10 minutes when one of the caterers servants comes in and says,
oh wait, when I was at the front
Mhm.
entrance, did I notice a certain gentleman waiting outside?
Hey. That's my booty call. Leave him alone.
You do. You see Andre
Yeah, that's
just outside smoking a cigarette, wearing a coat and looking
Good
out.
cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, they notify you that the taxi is here, and Magda gets up very carefully and smiles at each of you, but leans in and kind of presses her lips against Sabine's forehead.
Aw.
Let's
I'll help her stand up. I'll be the dude here.
let's not make this our last meeting for a while.
Here, take this. I'm gonna give her the photo of our son Henry from my wallet.
And she takes it and smiles at it. Thank you. I think this might help me sleep.
Of course.
And she, slowly heads out to the
Yeah,
front.
I'll help her. I'm gonna help her outside.
She gets into the
Mhm.
taxi,
Wonder why.
Yeah.
and just kind of looks out at you, Hans, as the taxi speeds
Guns.
down the street.
Good.
Yeah. And your and your boy,
guy. My boy,
yeah,
he's still there.
He's like,
I don't know. Let's go see your tulips.
okay, excellent.
He would wave to them, but otherwise gonna go. Yeah.
I just really like flowers, man. I'm down with.
Whew.
So yeah, that the kind of the night concludes. Hans walks the streets to check out some tulips. And what's the ride back for Sabine and Wes like?
Probably silent for a while.
I think she would hold his hand though, just like a little bit of support, just quietly.
So that nightmare. It doesn't really sound like something for a doctor so much as a psychiatrist, no?
Yeah.
But here the question remains, why now?
I don't know.
She had all this time. Baffling.
It took a while, but it still is nice though. Nice for me.
Something just doesn't add up.
Cut to silence for the rest of the car.
Yep.
You guys return. The sitter sits by the window, and gets up.
Fell asleep watching Die Hard.
Listening to some Nirvana.
Nirvana. and says, Mr. and Mrs. Davis, Henry went to bed around 10 p.m. And sleeping softly. If you needed me again, you know where to call. And you guys have a lovely night.
Okay, I'm gonna uncap a fountain pen and write him a check.
A check.
God, I'm having too much fucking fun doing this.
What's a
That
check?
was in the 90s.
Spell your name. Make this out to okay.
Yeah, I had to refer to the address book.
Exactly.
Like,
Rolodex.
yeah.
All right. So you guys head off to bed?
Yep.
Cool. Cool. Sabine. There's some point during the night.
Can we take a 5-minute break real quick?
Oh, yeah, we can take a
That
5-minute break.
All right, cool.
All right, guys, we are going to take a 5-minute break. Thank you
yeah?
guys for watching. Tell people about us so we have even more people watching, and thanks for engaging with us. We will be right back in 5 minutes. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Penny for a Tale. My name is Mitchell, and we are playing Kult, the Black Madonna.
No.
Spooky sound here.
So everyone who is back from the break and continuing to watch us, thank you so much. If you always want to support the channel, feel free to subscribe and check out all the links to our Patreon account, our YouTube account, as well as some other fun goods. Other than that, we also will be playing Pathfinder Hell's Rebels with Ian as our wonderful GM this coming Sunday. And if you even want even more of Penny for a Tale, next week, Tuesday, we are playing and starting the first campaign for Cartel, which shall be an amazingly good time. But without further gilding the lily, we are going to hop back to our wonderful Sabine, who has just woken up in the middle of the night to her dark apartment.
Why?
I don't know. It might be you heard something or a slight itch in the back of your neck, but nonetheless, you were awoken by something in an almost violent manner.
Wes is asleep.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Wes is beside you. His, you can almost see his eyes kind of moving back and forth in that way that people do when they're in that deep sleep.
Probably go get a drink of water.
All right. What do you wear when you go to sleep? Are you a pajamas person? Do you have socks on?
Yeah, I didn't expect to think about this right now. Shorts or sweatpants, shirt.
All right.
Simple person.
So
and yes to socks.
And socks, yeah. So your socks hit the hardwood floor as you move over to the kitchen. You kind of hear the creaks of the apartment underneath you. The sighs and moans of an old building kind of shifting with the different temperatures in the wind. And then when you approach the kitchen, instead of the usual luminescence of the refrigerator, when you open it, it's just dark. But you still kind of feel that cold coming
Can I try turning on one of the big kitchen lights?
You go over and flip the switch, and you see it kind of it breaks, it cracks, as if it was frozen. Feeling along the wall beside it, you feel this like frost clinging to the wall.
Okay. Is there like a flashlight anywhere, or maybe a lighter, a candle I could light?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the table, there's a few candles as well as a matchbox.
Then I will light a candle.
All right. You go over, press the head of the match against the rough part of the match and light it up. It illuminates the area around you, but only slightly. Normally, when you light this candle, you can see a good bit of the apartment, even going so far as to shifting some light into your own bedroom. But it doesn't penetrate more than a couple of feet past the table which it sits upon. And then you kind of get this almost sweet but unpleasant smell, as well as a sound of dripping. Looking at your hand, you see that a bit of water, cold and icy, has dripped onto the front of your hand.
Like from the ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
I look up. Like, is there frost on the ceiling, or is it just normal?
You can't see that far up. The light does not penetrate the darkness. It's thick, almost menacing, as it surrounds you. Then you hear it again, kind of this scraping along the hardwood floor. It almost sounds like nails being dragged across the floor.
Is it coming from the direction of my bedroom or a different part of the house?
It is coming from the bedroom.
I'll call out and ask, Wesley, is that you? Also, while making my way towards like a knife block or something.
Yeah, you place your hand on the knife block. It's cold to the touch, frost covering each of the handles, but you're able to pull it out. This large kitchen knife, and you definitely feel it almost circling you, just always at the peripheral of your vision. Something edging its way around you.
I'm gonna call it again for Wesley.
There's no response. You don't even hear the echo of your voice as you normally do in this apartment. It just kind of falls flat. Something cold touches your shoulder.
Does it feel like a hand, or?
It's as close to a hand as you can fathom. And yet, it's cold, it's long, and doesn't maintain the consistency that hands normally do. One finger longer than the other, the several more black and cold, with nails on the tips of them, but each one broken and dripping with blood as if dragged across the hardwood floor.
Sabine's not gonna turn to look at whatever this is, but just Who are you?
When you speak, you notice your voice is not normal. It's younger, much younger, almost as if you were a child.
Cool.
There's no response.
If she gently tries to pull away, does it hold on?
It doesn't. And when you take a few steps back to look behind you, there is nothing there. As your back kind of hits the cabinets of your kitchen, as you are now cornered in this place.
Cool.
You see several hands kind of reach out from the darkness. 5 of them in total, dragging something a little bit closer to you.
She's gonna start like slightly going into a panic. She's gonna like go away. I don't know why you go away. Just trying to figure out what to do.
You have the
like
knife.
Looking around. I have a knife.
Are you going to do something with it? Yeah. As it moves forward, it never comes into the light, but it looks like it's dragging the darkness towards you, shifting it ever closer and closing in the light that surrounds you. You hear the nails scratch and splinter against the hardwood floor. It's coming closer, Sabine.
Is she able to try and maneuver out of this corner at all?
No.
She's gonna last ditch effort call out for Wes once more.
Your voice sounds muffled, young, almost as a child screaming for her mother in the crowded playground.
Cool. She'll now point the knife and just be like, don't come any closer to me. Just stop.
You feel a hand on your leg. And then another. And then another hand on your other leg. It brings the darkness ever closer. And it's almost pulling itself up your body.
Can she like move though, or is she like stuck?
It feels like your feet are in mud. Thick, wet mud.
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck she would do.
The hands reach up and you feel it grab around your waist. All 5 of them just slowly crawling up. You feel the nails digging into your flesh with every kind of climb. It's up to your stomach now. It feels hot. So hot. Almost feverishly hot.
I think she might be in too much of a panic to really rationalize what to do right now.
Yeah, and with that, why don't you keep it together? Roll plus your willpower.
12.
Ooh. All right, you resist for the most part, but you get to choose one. I think scared seems like the best affliction.
Yeah.
All right, so you take scared, and you're at -1 stability.
All right.
And then You wake up. You were in your bed. Light kind of filters in from the windows. It's probably what woke you up. It's almost bright as it glares against your eyes. The bed is covered in sweat, and you feel it kind of dripping off of your face.
Alright, she's gonna go and smoke. Like crack open a window, just like, okay.
It's the 90s. It's
Okay.
Wes, it's with
Is
that shuffling that you yourself wake up as well.
This is what she's doing the whole time, because that's how you smoke, right?
That's how you smoke.
Cool. Jeez. Well, he'll smoke with you. Mention bed's sweaty as hell, Sabine. You all right?
I don't know.
What happened?
I had a nightmare. And then to avoid talking about it, she's gonna start changing the sheets.
I'm gonna follow her back in and just like lean in the doorway. I'm trying not to wake up Henry, but I'm just gonna say, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You know, this whole thing with your mom, I just try to relax about it, okay? If you're not ready to meet her, I could take her to the doctor.
We'll see. Jeez.
And Sabine, you feel feverish. Like, you cannot stop sweating. It is hot.
Fug. Okay.
So we'll shift back over to Hans.
Oh, hey. It is hot.
Equally sweaty bed.
Yeah, I was gonna say equally sweaty. But he might be smoking too. He does. I don't know. All
Yeah.
smoking at the same time.
Smoking at the same
And
time.
the other half of that grapefruit.
On break, we were talking about grapefruits.
Yeah.
Y'all know. Those of you who know.
So you're,
Yeah. I am in Andre's apartment.
Mhm.
He would have spent the night or had
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah, and this is later on.
Okay.
Maybe you're peering out the window. Does your character smoke?
He can. He does. Sure.
That's the spirit.
Everyone
Yeah.
in the 90s smoked.
The 90s. Yeah. Whatever.
We're all method actors, so we should take up smoking.
Let's
I have
not.
asthma.
Yeah, let me not die.
Make sure to not.
It's for the part. So why don't you give me
Spirit.
and observe a situation. It's roll plus perception.
Roll plus perception. Okay. I had one in that. All right. I rolled a 4 and a 4, and I have a +1, so that is a 9 total.
Ooh. All right. So as you're looking out on Hamburg and the city, for the most part, has died down. There's a few vehicles traversing the streets. The rain has dissipated a little bit, and now you have that hot summer mist that kind of rises from the hot pavement. The sun is deep on the horizon. You can kind of see slivers of light casting dark shadows through the various buildings, but it still has a feeling of nighttime. And as you're looking out, as someone who has much to hide, and no doubt looks for these sorts of things. You see movement on the top of one of the buildings across the street.
Mm. Don't like it.
You did not roll well.
Okay. That's fine. So yeah, if Hans has kind of noticed something, he's gonna kind of slowly duck back behind a curtain or like towards the wall. He's gonna continue to watch this thing and see what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, whatever movement was there doesn't come back. So my question is, does he stay up the whole night, or?
Was he still with what's his face, Andre?
Yeah, Andre is asleep on the
Okay,
bed.
all right, so that's happening at that point. Okay, he would have a couple smokes, like he would just kind of chain smoke. He would 3 or something, 3, 4, whatever. And then if he hasn't seen anything by that point, he'll close the window and then go back to bed.
Excellent. And you do, for you do not see anyone else. As you close your eyes and try to enjoy a night of sleep.
Ain't no sleep. I'll let you know.
Ain't no sleep for the week.
Ain't no sleep.
There's a point in time you know you're dreaming. And for those listening, I definitely have a music suggestion for this moment.
Oh, God. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm scared.
Probably fine.
Your hands move across these black boils.
Oh, no.
Sticky, hot, feverish. You sit on a steel chair next to a steel-framed bed. The man on it doesn't move, but you can slowly see the rise and fall of his chest ever so slightly. But you know it's slower than it was yesterday. Who is this?
This is Ivan. This is Alexei's boyfriend. And he is very sick.
His eyes are closed, and you feel it. You know it. You're dreaming. You've had this dream several times before. Maybe it's why you drink, and maybe it's why you seek something to occupy your time at night. But you cannot stop staring at the black boils on his body and almost the laboring of his chest as it goes up and down, rising and falling. His hand is intertwined with yours. And you can almost hear his voice, how it used to be when he speaks. That velvet, warm voice that brought you two together in the first place.
Don't try and talk. Don't worry, I'm here.
I'm in so much pain.
I know.
I know this is difficult for you. But I can't continue to do this.
You don't have to.
I don't want any more medicine. I just want you to take me to the countryside. Someplace with some light. I'm tired of fighting. And I can't do it anymore. Alexei, please help me. Oh no, I think he
I think so. That's
disconnected.
too. They're like the response like, oh.
I was like, that's a long pause.
He'll be right back. It's an unfortunate time for that though. While we there you go.
I am so sorry. I'm gonna get this fixed before next game. I swear to God.
It's fine.
I
We're
am
just
so
having
sorry.
fun.
Okay. So I'm watching this. I don't know what was left. I'm sorry. I missed like the last portion.
Where do you leave off at?
I'm sorry. I don't shh, be quiet. You don't need to talk is what he was saying.
I want you to take me out to the country.
I can't do that. You're too sick.
I'm tired of being here on the bed. I don't want any more pills. I don't want any more doctors. I just want to be out of this city.
Okay.
I want to have a picnic.
But you hate the bugs.
I know I'll hate the bugs. And as he laughs, you can kind of feel the pain on his face as it racks his body.
Why don't you go to sleep if you can? I will get the things and we will go.
Okay.
Go to sleep. He'll lean over and kiss his forehead, away from a boil.
Yeah. There's a couple of boils on his cheek, but his forehead remains clean, and you press your lips against it, and I mean, you know what happens next.
I do. He does.
And that's why it's difficult for you to sleep. In the morning you wake up and you feel what feel at first like tears, but as you kind of investigate further, it's sweat.
Yeah, it is.
And you feel warm, you feel hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
I'll get back up and trying not to wake my bed partner, and open the window again because I had closed it the night before, and try and get some air in.
You open up the door, and the
I'm stark naked too. Whatever. Don't care.
Whatever. The city kind of welcomes you with honks and conversations being spoken out on the street. an airplane flies by, and you definitely take in the almost that bitter post-rain smell of the morning. It's refreshing, but even as you place your hand on your forehead, with your background, you are pretty confident you are. It feels familiar. The heat, the fever. It feels familiar.
All right.
So we go back to Sabine and Wes during their morning. Henry has awoken sometime around 9 a.m., wanting to go to the park. Nonetheless, though, Sabine seems to be ill. Though Wes doesn't. Wes, you kind of have a almost an itchy feeling around around your arms, but that's about it.
Sabine, what are your symptoms? What are her symptoms?
Sweating, feverish. That's it.
And probably by now she's like taking a cold shower right now, like just sitting in the tub, like avoiding talking
I'm
about
gonna
it.
open the
or
door and
getting
just lean
lost.
in a little bit. Yep. And I'm just gonna lean in without making eye contact. Henry wants to go to the park. We don't get to do it much, so I'm gonna take him. Okay.
You cut out so bad I could not understand you.
Oh, whoops. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna lean in, and I'm gonna say, Henry wants to go to the park. Did I cut out again?
Just slightly.
Yeah.
Ah!
Henry. She's like,
Just,
Better than
Hey.
me.
Henry wants to go to the park.
okay.
This is just role-playing an average conversation between married people while someone's taking a shower. It's just like this.
Yeah, my roommates just set off the fire alarm. Oh, those fucking heathens. Okay. She'll just
Can you hear me any better now?
I heard it that time. It was like distorted, but I heard that last
Yeah.
time.
You're fine.
She'll look to you and say, "Oh, okay. I'll be here." And then like not look at you anymore.
Yep. I didn't even make eye contact.
I looked at you once. That's I tried.
There's affection there. All right, Wes takes Henry out to the park, enjoying the lovely morning with his son. Sabine tries to shake off the nightmare of last night while taking a cold shower. Hans, are you planning on staying with your friend, or
Nope.
gonna leave that morning?
Yep.
Before he
So-
wakes up?
No. He would wait until he wakes up and then be, kind of like, I gotta get back. I have things I have to do. We should talk. Here's, I'll call you. No, I'll call you. You don't call me. I'll call you. That's, all right. You good. I'll see you later. So he would leave.
All right. Walking outside, your training kicks in automatically in a busy street. As you turn the corner, looking through a side view mirror, you notice a white van has turned the corner and you are pretty sure it was parked across the street from where you were at just a few blocks ago.
I'm gonna he'd stop by a car that has like a rear view window and kind of look like he's fixing something, but really kind of adjust it so he can try and get a look at like who's driving this thing and take a look at the what tags there are, and like really use his previous skills to kind of figure out who this is.
So you are able to get the license plate off the front of the vehicle. The individual in the back, it's very difficult to see due to the morning sun rays are kind of obscuring the who's inside with the tent and everything. You do notice a black ring, as you can kind of see the person's hands on the wheel. When it gets closer to you, you see that it's slowing down, and then it turns at the crosswalk where you're kind of around, going down a different street.
Okay. All right. He would start to walk the opposite way. He would go, he's thing turned that way. He's going the opposite way. He would then at the next alley drop back into an alley and just stand there and watch, like in the shadows, to see if this truck comes, past him.
You do see it again about 30 minutes later.
Okay.
Almost cruising as if looking for someone.
I don't like it. He does not like it. So I said that he kind of ducked into an alleyway. Is this a dead end alleyway? Is there any sort of doors that he can kind of like?
There is not a dead end alleyway. It goes to the other side, to the next block over. There are a couple of doors in this alleyway, going to a which you're pretty confident is a warehouse, and the other is apartment complex.
Please, I swear to God.
Hopefully you'll be back soon. So Sabine, what else are you doing with your morning now that you have the house to yourself without Le Kid?
Sorry.
Actually, don't know if I'd have any like business to conduct that I might just pop out and do.
Yeah, it's the weekend, so it's really up to you.
Yeah, I should probably go out, leave a note, be like, went out for a walk, whatever. Just maybe stop by our normal spot, see if there's anything weird or anything that you might have to, start taking care of.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So you're going through the normal haunts and everything. It is difficult to go through the day.
I'm not may need to stop there. Probably just walk by and assess a little bit.
But everything it's a normal day. Yeah, there's nothing peculiar about the places you stop at, but there is just kind of this feeling that you're being watched that pervades throughout the whole experience.
Would I be able to see if there's anyone following me? I'm gonna try and pay attention enough.
Yeah, you can roll Observe a Situation.
What roll is that?
It's your roll plus Perception.
Oh, good. Fuck, I just dropped one of my die. Alright, that is 12.
Ooh, nice. Alright, so you get to ask me one question.
What question? Is it going to be any question?
Yeah, just related to the environment that you're observing.
Have I noticed any competitors or associates of my competitors?
You have not. No.
Cool.
All right, perfect. So
and then I might try and meet up at the park if it's not
at the
too
park.
late.
Oh, it's not too late at all. In fact, you continue to walk and you see your son, and and Wes Wes is pushing Henry on the swing. Several other children are present, though he's the only male individual here.
All right.
So we'll swoop back over to Hans. Hans, where are you going?
Yeah. So he would duck through the alleyway to the other side and proceed to kind of just tactically duck behind things, heading he's going to head back towards his apartment. He doesn't know how long he's going to be there because he has now absolutely been convinced that his time is up. He's got to go.
Things are looking dicey.
Mm-hmm.
So you head back to your place, and on that note, we will end for tonight.
Oh. Wahahaha.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming to our first session for our campaign here at Penny for a Tale. We are playing Kult, Divinity Lost by Helmgast, the Black Madonna. If you are curious about the channel and all the other things that we do, feel free to hop on over to our Facebook, our YouTube, as well as our Patreon. All these things have been posted on our chat right here. Furthermore, come check us out this Sunday where Ian will be running Pathfinder Hell's Rebels. It will be an awesome time. Yeah, that one. Furthermore, next week, Tuesday, we will be running Cartel, which is another Powered by the Apocalypse game about narco. It's a narco game set in Mexico. So it should be an amazing time. I'm super excited. And once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We all love you. Bye.